Hello everyone, my name is Juan and I am a teacher for Your Yoga Flow Studio. Today we're going to do a foundational Pilates practice. It is mostly just to set up the foundation to any other Pilates practices that you will be doing. And also remember to subscribe to our channel and to go to the link in the description for more free classes. So for today, we're going to need a cushion. It doesn't have to be anything special, just something to support the head. So find a cushion, place it at the top of your mat, and start to find your way to lying down on your mat using the cushion as a head support underneath you. Here, keeping both knees bent, your heels closer toward the pelvis. And let's begin by placing both hands on the sides. Let's close the eyes for a couple of seconds here, just to notice the breath. Notice the inhales and the exhales. And sometimes it's nice to be able to place your hands, maybe one on the belly, one on the chest, to feel the breath. Let's do a couple more breaths here. So inhaling to feel the expansion of the chest and expansion of the belly. And softening the chest, softening the belly. And let's try that once again. So inhale to feel the chest expand into your hands and into the belly. And then letting go. If your hands are on chest and belly, return both hands back down to the sides. If your eyes are closed, begin to float the eyes opened. And let's bring the right knee up toward the ceiling. So this is a tabletop position where there is a 90-degree angle at the knee joint. And then what I like you to do is to begin to direct the toes and point the toes forward so you keep that 90-degree angle. And without changing that 90-degree angle, begin to lower just the big toe to tap the toe down to the floor as you bring the knee back up. So you're stacking the knee on top of the pelvis. And again, let's just do a couple more like that. So the right big toe taps down and then back up. Try not to change the 90-degree angle at the knee joint. And the last time. And just notice the breath also as you do this. And then once you return the leg back down to the floor, let's do the left side. So placing the right foot down as you take the left leg into a tabletop, point the toes forward, and once again keeping that 90-degree angle as you lower the big toe down and then bring the knee back up, stacking knee over the left pelvis or the left pelvic half, and then lower the toe back down as you bring it back up, keeping that 90-degree angle. Let's do it one more time. Lower the toes down and then bring it back up. Lower the foot down. Placing both hands just at the top of your pelvis. And what I like you to do is take an exhale through the nose and press the lower back muscles down into the floor. So what this does is that the front of the pelvis is rocking towards your face, and then taking the lower back and then take it away from the floor. So now you're taking the front of the pelvis and rocking it away from the face. So you're creating a little bit of a bridge underneath it, if almost like you could slide your hands underneath between the lower back and the mat. And let's repeat again. So pressing lower back into the mat. And then releasing lower back off the mat. So rocking the pelvis away from the face. And let's do it one more time. Another nice visualization here is thinking like the pelvis is a bowl, like a glass bowl, and you have water, and you're moving the water back and forth. And then thinking about the water in that glass bowl, see if you can bring it back to neutral. So the water is complete stillness, is in complete stillness and completely flat, parallel to the floor. Now, placing both hands on the ribs, notice if the lower ribs tend to pop up toward the ceiling, and gently guide the lower ribs down. So you have that neutral spine, which is the water on the glass bowl parallel to the floor, or the water in the glass bowl parallel to the floor. And you also have the lower ribs connected to the pelvis, to the front of the pelvis. If you take the lower ribs off the floor, then you're kind of stretching the front area of the abdominal muscles. So we want to really feel that connection, gathering the lower ribs down toward the pelvis, still keeping the neutral spine, so a little bridge between the lower back and the mat. And one nice way to play with this is to take both hands up toward the ceiling. Visualize like you're holding a beach ball between the hands. And then you reach the arms toward the back space. This tends to take the ribs off the floor, so continue to draw the ribs down toward the floor. As you reach the arms back, keeping the ribs hanging down toward the floor, keeping the neutral spine, so the slow or small bridge between the lower back and the yoga mat. And then taking both arms back up toward the ceiling, that imaginary beach ball between the hands. And then let's take the arms again toward the back space, keeping the lower ribs down. And again, let's do it one more time, reaching both hands up toward the ceiling, and then both arms back. And every time I do this, I think of hugging the belly down toward the lower back, and the lower back into the belly. And then back up. Now, let's, just for fun, this is where we start to engage the core a little bit more. Think of the muscles that you need to engage in order to float one leg off the floor. So if I'm going to pick up my leg back into tabletop, I start to notice the deep abdominal muscles engaging. As you bring the leg into tabletop and bring the leg down, let's do the left side. You can keep the arms up because we're going to use them in a second. So taking the left leg into tabletop and then back down again. Now, both legs, this is a deeper engagement of those abdominal muscles, lower abs. So you can bring the big toes together, knees together. As you begin to pick up both legs to tabletop, you find that deeper connection. That is the connection we want to try to keep in our Pilates classes as much as possible. And then lower both feet back down. Let's try that a couple more times so we can really feel that. And try not to disrupt the front of the torso as you do this. So taking both knees back to tabletop, so that is that 90-degree angle, and then bringing both feet back down to the floor. Let's do the last one. Both knees up. Now hold it here in tabletop, knees stack over the pelvis, and then bring both arms back without letting the ribs pop away from the floor, keeping the lower ribs hanging down. And then both arms up. Again, shoulders away from the ears. Maybe find a smile on your face to relax the facial muscles. Reach both arms again to the back space, keeping the lower ribs down. And then again, back up toward the ceiling. Let's do it one more time. Feel free to inhale to reach both arms back, hugging the belly in, lower abdominal muscles up to belly. Exhale to keep that connection as you bring both arms up. Lower the feet back down to the floor, lower the hands down, just take a little breather here. And now we're going to connect to the head. So let's just gently say no with the head. Sometimes I feel that I might be able to connect more to the mobility of my head if I release the prop from underneath it. So I'm going to take the prop away from underneath the head, just to feel maybe a deeper connection to the back of the head and the floor. So say no with the head. And visualize that connection off the top of the spine and the head. And then bringing the head back into the center. Let's say yes. Yeah, so draw the chin slightly toward the chest. This is very slow. And then chin is slightly away from the chest. And find the neutral again. So a place where your chin is not too attached into the front neck, and also the back of the neck is not compressed and you're almost like looking back. So really try to find a place in between. So the front of the face is parallel to the floor. There is a gentle space between chin and chest. Maybe there's a tiny bit of elongation at the back of the neck. And then let's visualize that we have, or imagine you have a pencil at the tip of the nose, and you're going to start to draw circles in the ceiling. And then reversing the circles. So you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your nose. This is all to release the neck muscles and the connection of the skull and the spine, because really what we want to think about in Pilates is the connection of the abdominal muscles, as opposed to using the neck muscles to lift the chest up or lift the head. It's all about the center, and the rest is as relaxed as possible. It is all working together, it is all connected, but that's the word, I think, is more connection rather than using one set of muscles away from the core more than the core. It's all about the core initiating that place of connection. And then bringing the head back into the center, taking both knees back into the chest, hug your knees into the chest, and then you slowly find a sitting position back onto your mat. And thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Remember to subscribe and to look at the link in the description for more free classes. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.